All right, guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Amit, and I'm back to talk to you guys about the latest blockbuster breaking movie from Mohanlal, Shobana, and Tharun Moorthy, Thudarum. This movie is making so much noise, and to be honest, I missed watching it last week. If you guys are familiar with this channel, if you are a long-time viewer of this channel, then you might have noticed I've been a little bit quiet as of late. Took some time away, took some time off, but I'm hoping to be back now, and what a better way to be back than to talk about this blockbuster movie. So this movie is making a lot of noise, and rightfully so. I think the word of mouth of this movie is just starting to grow more and more. So I'm going to break this movie down like I always do and give you guys my thoughts, what I liked about this movie, my experience about watching this movie, and obviously, some of the things I think didn't exactly work for me perfectly in this movie, despite the fact I really enjoyed it. So stay tuned to the end because I am going to be talking about Mohanlal's performance, which I think was easily the highlight of this movie. He stole the show and he showed us what a force he can be when, given the right script, when given the right role. It's just something to behold. And we saw that right here with this incredible movie, Thudarum. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about my experience first. I like to give you guys a little bit of my experience, watching it from over here in Melbourne, Australia. Essentially, when I went to the cinema, I was looking to book this movie for the Friday night show at 6 p.m. I thought I'd finish work, go away, and go watch the movie. That didn't happen because when I went to book the movie on Thursday night, I believe, the tickets, there was I think only a couple seats left and they were all the way in the front. So I was like, okay, this movie is obviously very popular. That's the first time I've seen this. I've been able to book Malayalam movies without any difficulty at all normally. So I said, okay, let me try the 8 p.m. show. The 8 p.m. show had 3 seats left, and at least one was in the back, so I was able to have a comfortable viewing. But that should tell you how popular this movie is, and the fact that this movie is not slowing down anytime soon. If a movie like this is getting this much traction over here in Australia with the Malayalam audience, that's here, then it tells you that this movie is not going to stop anytime soon, it looks like. Currently, it's already, I believe, one of the highest grossing Malayalam films. Right now, it sits at number 11, making 100 crore. So it's got quite a way to go to to match Mohanlal's other movie that came out just a little while ago, L2 Impuran, which is at 265 crore. I don't know if it's going to make that much, to be honest, but it is definitely going to, I think it'll be in a top 10 at least. It's got to make, a little bit more before it catches up to number 10. I feel like it's going to make somewhere, maybe it could make the top 5. I feel like it could get to that level or maybe even more. Who knows? But I can tell you right now, this movie is doing really well and people are really enjoying it. And that's really good to see. There's so much I liked about this movie. So I'm going to get into it, right now and talk to you guys about what I liked about it. But before I do, I will talk a little bit about the director here, Tharun Moorthy. Now, he is somebody that I have seen a little bit of because I watched his movie a little while ago. We did a little bit of on our channel, we did a little series where we looked at underrated movies, which I'm really happy we did because if I didn't do that sort of series, then I wouldn't have seen a movie that, Tharun Moorthy has directed before. And the movie I've seen of his was a movie called Saudi Velika. That movie to me was incredible. And it's probably one of my favorite movies from that sort of genre that we looked at around the whole, underrated gems, no big superstars, relatively unknown directors. At that time, I think he had done one other movie. So, but I really enjoyed that movie a lot. And I enjoyed his grounded filmmaking technique. Everything felt so grounded, as Malayalam films are very grounded. That's sort of one of their traits. They're very grounded and they're really rich in their storytelling and their themes and what they're trying to express. They do that so well in this industry. But Tharun Moorthy especially, he took a really simple story and he made it just beautiful and incredible. So I was looking forward to see what he's going to do with someone like Mohanlal, with someone like Shobana. Obviously, the stakes are a bit higher now. It's not just a small, little film that can sort of go, be more critically acclaimed. This has higher expectations as long as you put Mohanlal's name to it. People are going to expect a lot. So did he deliver? Yes, he did. There's so much I liked about this movie, and I'll start off with the first half, which I personally enjoyed more than the second half. So the first half to me, getting into this movie, slowly easing in, the way it just draws you in slowly. In fact, the first I would say half an hour or 45 minutes to this movie, I felt like I was watching something from like the 90s or the 2000s, which honestly to me might be like my favorite genre, my favorite time of movie making, because things just felt like they were just paced out better, less dramatic, more time and space to build characters, more time to spend with these characters and just enjoy, just enjoy life. And that's what the first half of this movie kind of did for me. It built slowly, and I could see sort of some of the traits of Tharun Moorthy's coming through again in this movie. And the fact that, there were some dramatic moments here and there, but they weren't over the top. And we built tension slowly and slowly. And I think that's something that I'm really appreciating out of Tharun Moorthy's filmmaking style. It really just built tension. And he did that so well in Saudi Valaka. I think in this movie, it's almost a tale of two halves. So you can see the first half as a very grounded, slight thrilled, comedic, family-based movie where we're just understanding the characters and falling in love with the characters and family. But then, the second half turns into something else, which I'll talk to in a little while. But in terms of like just getting me into this movie, I really enjoyed it. The music was beautiful. The settings was beautiful. The dynamic between Mohanlal and Shobana, the relationship they have with the family dynamic, good comedy in between, really lighthearted. So it kind of, it kind of disalarms you or disengages you. You're not expecting to see what's coming up next. I was also somebody that for the first time, maybe I went towards this movie without seeing the trailer. So that might be the first time I've done that. For the Malayalam film industry. It's been so rare. Normally I do trailer reactions and teaser reactions and all that good stuff that people love. But this time I decided not to do any of that, and I just watched the movie without seeing anything. So I just had seen, I think I had seen like the making of or something like that. And I thought this would be more like a rom-com kind of movie or something like that. But boy, was I wrong in the second half. But yeah, as I said, really atmospheric. I love everything about this movie and what it was doing in the first half. It was just beautiful. And Mohanlal's performance, I got to see, from just the first half perspective, that side of him that I absolutely love. Obviously we know about his eyes and how he can just evoke emotions from the audience so easily and so well. But what I really like about Mohanlal, and something that I think he does almost better than almost anybody that I've seen, is the way he can switch from different perspectives so quickly. I've watched a lot of Mohanlal movies on the channel. I've probably watched more Mohanlal movies than anybody else on this channel. It's just, he's been like the highlight to me. And I've loved his performances, a lot of his older movies that we've sort of seen. So when I was watching this, as we went on, I was getting hints from movies like Kiridam, movies like Brahmaram, even Drishyam with the family dynamic. There's little parts that I was just pulling out from here and there. But this movie ties it all together. But I really love the interaction between him, Shobana, the kids. That scene when we had sort of the slap to the son, and obviously that becomes a pivotal moment later on in terms of like Mohanlal's emotion. But some of the scenes he has when he goes from like joyous to mysterious to tragic to obviously at the end violent and rageful. We got to see the whole dynamic here. But just, yeah, you can watch this movie and just as a Mohanlal vehicle be amazed by it. And I'll talk about that more in the second half. But that's all the stuff sort of I liked in the first half. I will give a special mention to some of the other performances too, because I thought they were just fantastic. I talked about Shobana, obviously, and I'll talk about her a little bit more down the line. But in the role she was given, I thought she was fantastic. Obviously, that chemistry is there. A lot of people I know grew up watching Mohanlal and Shobana. So this would have brought back a lot of nostalgia. I've seen this dynamic play out a few times in some of the movies I've seen, some of the more rom-com and I guess comedic roles that I've seen. I haven't seen a dramatic role. Oh, no, maybe if you want to count Maniyanpilla, that's the movie that I've seen that's a bit more dramatic. But yeah, that, she was great. And the other two that I really enjoyed, the trio of villains, if you want to call them. This movie isn't really big on cast, I would say. It has a few central characters, but whoever is there just knocks it out of the park. This guy, Prakash Varma, debut movie from this guy. And he comes from like an advertising background, I believe. So he's not even been in like the movie industry, it feels like, but it must be something he's just been doing in the background, just practicing or something like that, because he just came so naturally to him. He was such a good villain, and for what he was given, I thought he was fantastic. Really, really evil. Some of the things he did in this movie, the wave he does, the innocent kind of like, I'm a good guy, I'm not really a good guy. the mystery, the teasing that he does with Mohanlal's character, bends throughout this movie was just fantastic. So he was really good. The other sort of second in charge, Binu Pappu, playing the character of S.I. Benny, also fantastic, much more aggressive, but also playing that role of, like, I guess, a lapdog. And I think he was in Saudi Velakat too. So he is somebody that, you know, this director seems to lean on every now and then, it seems like. So that's good to see that continuation. But yeah, I mean, they were fantastic, and I didn't even know Faasil had a brother. So I did not know this, but Farhaan Faasil, first movie I've seen from Faasil's brother. I think he had a smaller role in this, but you could definitely tell from those eyes, like, that's the one similarity that both of them have, like, to be able to evoke those emotions just through the face and the eyes. He was also really good playing the more sympathetic character, I would say, among the three villains. So really good performances, and I will talk about a little bit now about the second half. I'm trying not to go too much into spoilers here, guys, so I'm not going to give away any plot details, or try not to give away any plot details as much as I can. But the second half, it just transforms into a completely different movie. I did not see this coming, to be honest. At the point when we got to the interval, when something pivotal happens, I did not expect us to go from what happened at the interval to what happened in the second half. I honestly thought, knowing Tharun Moorthy a little bit of sort of his work before and how this was going to play out, I thought we were going to get more of a psychological thriller. I thought the questions would be more around, how is Mohanlal going to escape the cops? Potentially trying to trap him. Are there going to be some sort of mind games? Are there going to be some traps and lay for him to try and catch him? And is he going to try and escape that? I thought it'd be more grounded, like the first half was. I did not expect to see what we saw in the second half at all, which was a full-blown action flick, revenge drama. Like, it just became like that. So I used the word grounded before with Tharun Moorthy's directing. It is not grounded in the second half. It lifts off and takes us somewhere else altogether. But I'm there for it. I was there for it. Once I realized what was happening and what version of Mohanlal we were getting in the second half, yeah, I was fixated, because I've already seen and I've talked to you guys about how much I loved his performance in the first half, and everything about the jovialness to sort of the lightheartedness to the mystery to the anger that comes out. He showed us everything in this, and the only thing he didn't show us in this movie, but I should mention the romance between him and Shobana as well. But the one thing he didn't show us in this movie in the first half was obviously the other side of him, which is the action side, which I'm familiar with, and I know he's had some great action scenes. He's very comfortable in that role, so it was sort of good to see that. But that's the one thing they had not shown us in the first half, and I didn't expect it in this movie. But we got a lot of it in the second half, and as I said, I was there for it. It was awesome. Some of the scenes in this just caught me by surprise. Honestly, this movie got way darker than I thought it would be. There were torture scenes. There were full-fledged like action scenes where he's taking on like 4 or 5 people at once. Like it's really became like John Wick to some point. I'm happy it didn't go super gory. Personally, I'm really starting to get away from the whole over-the-top violence. But this movie seems to do a pretty good balance, even though there was some gore, some action, which I think was over the top. I felt like it still had some balance, which made it, accessible for people like me and people that, the general family audience, I'm guessing, don't want to see, half an hour of like torture or something like that. So the action was good. It was entertaining. It was shot well. I thought I really enjoyed seeing Mohanlal. Probably the most action I've seen in Mohanlal, to be honest, from any movie I have seen. I've seen him do bits and pieces, and you guys in the comment section let me know what's the best action flick that Mohanlal has done. But for me, I've seen him do like bits and pieces of action, not a full blown action like what is it, like an hour and a half of action basically in this movie in the second half. But some of these expressions, oh my God, like the way he changes his voice up at different times. Again, all credit to the cinematography, which was awesome in the first half and also the second half. I really like, as I said, when I talked about Tharun Moorthy's approach to filmmaking, he has a really good, as well as attention, it's done through story, but it's also done through cinematography. Like the way you notice a lot of scenes in the car, which is very intimate, in the car, in a forest, very isolated, inside a room, a small room by itself. He creates atmosphere really well through this, and we saw this repeatedly throughout. Some of the framing that they did was fantastic. So yeah, I was really enjoying the second half as well. I will say it just caught me off guard. I'll just put it like that. It did catch me off guard. Did I really think that that was the right way to go? I think in terms of being a blockbuster success, yes. I feel like if you wanted to make this movie, give you that sort of razzle dazzle, which this movie gave us, then yes. I even think Mohanlal alluded to it in the sort of the start of the movie when he was talking about he's naming all the actors, including himself, which is a little bit interesting. But he talked about how, where are they known for? And they're known for the big action sequences. So, we got that big action sequence later on as well. So yeah, it was really great to watch. The ending, I would say I feel like I'm a little bit torn on the ending. It is definitely, without giving away too much, it is something that, again, caught me by surprise as to what this movie was doing in its direction. There's a bit of a twist at the end that comes to us later on, and we get to see a little bit of, why this all happened, and it unveils sort of some of the, I guess, motivations for why it happened. Personally, I feel like I did not connect with that part 100%. I feel that part was the part which was missing a little bit for me, which prevents me from saying this was like a perfect movie. I feel that was a part that was really missing. So I will get on to now. I've told you guys how much I love this movie, so please understand I love this movie, but I do have my criticisms of this movie, and I'm going to go into that now. It might get a little bit more spoiler here now. I'm going to try and avoid any massive spoilers, but if you want to tune out now, feel free to. I appreciate you listening so far. But I feel like some of the criticisms I have to talk about was, unfortunately, Shobana's role to me. While I talked about her performance being great, I just did not want to see Shobana play a damsel in distress. Somebody as talented as Shobana, forgive me if I'm saying the name incorrectly. I've heard it being said in both ways. But Shobana's role in this movie, I feel, was quite reduced. I enjoyed her in the first half, and obviously the chemistry was fantastic to see. But I've seen this actress just put on just amazing performances, subtle performances, mesmerizing performances. So to see her reduced to a role where she's just sort of being beat up by policemen, really kind of just, I just wanted more for Shobana, to be honest. I thought maybe she'd be more integral to the story in the second half. Like, I was actually hoping for that, watching the second half, thinking, okay, maybe this is when Shobana is now going to step up and she's going to have to do something unexpected. Or maybe there is some past about her that we didn't know that's going to come up in the second half and give us a more of a, I guess, character that has more depth to it. But unfortunately, we didn't get much of that. So that's one criticism I have to say. The villain, again, the actor absolutely killed it. Prakash Varma absolutely killed it in the role. But one thing I have to say is the villain's motivations, to me, did not really, for some reason, whether it was a storytelling aspect of it or how they convinced me that, he's so evil that he would do the things that he did. I feel like that needed more time and space, despite the fact that he was given so much screen time, and they didn't explore that side of him much. I feel like that's a little bit of a letdown for me personally. Like, I was there for him to be, psychotic and evil and, whatever he was, just a really good antagonist in his performance and his role. But I feel like the backstory for him needed to be a bit stronger for me to connect with, this a little bit better. So that's one other sort of, I guess, negative criticism I have. Again, these are not major criticisms, I feel. Or Shobana one maybe is a little bit, Shobana's one maybe is a little bit more of a major criticism, but this is a little bit smaller. I also personally, there are things that I don't like in movies, pet peeves. One is violence against children, one is violence against women, and one is violence against animals. So this movie did 2 of 3 of them. So I didn't really like the scene where they're just torturing women. Like, men torturing women, to me is such a, it's a very uncreative way to show power of a character or a villain. And they did that on multiple occasions here, which I didn't really buy into that much. Personally, it didn't work for me. I know it's been done in a lot of movies. To be honest, I don't see it that much in Malayalam movies. So I've seen it more in other industries, but in Malayalam movies, I feel like it's not as prominent. But personally, I just don't like that. So I didn't like that aspect of the movie. But hey, this is my review, guys. This is my thoughts about the movie. I would love to know what you guys thought about this movie. Please let me know in the comment section what you guys thought. I'm really excited to see what Tharun Moorthy has coming up next. I think I had just read something a little bit before about how he has another movie that's coming up, this time with Faasil. So, after working with Mohanlal, he's going to work with Faasil. So, I mean, she's breaking the box office right now. What's next for Tharun Moorthy? It's so exciting right now to me. There are so many directors in the Malayalam film industry who are just absolutely knocking it out of the park, either critically or commercially or both. I'm so excited to see what movie is going to come out from Tharun Moorthy and other young, up and coming directors. So anyway, guys, thanks for a lot for listening to me. I appreciate your support. Let me know what you thought about this movie in the comment section. I love engaging with the comment section. And if you've come this far and you haven't subscribed, then why not? We do Malayalam movies. We talk only about Malayalam movies here. We do deep dives. We do reactions and all that good stuff as well. I bring on a lot of my friends and co-hosts as well to come and join me on this channel. So it's not just always me talking. But thanks again, guys. And I will talk to you guys on the next one.